Hello everyone, my name is Yuri Kasdorp from Mouse, and today we are back with our track guide, week 6 of GT3R Sprint Series, and we are at Francorchamps. Track we've already done before a couple times, but one of the best tracks in iRacing, especially to race. We haven't done a 992 yet. Let's see how this looks like and take Rexy around a lap on this iconic circuit. Right, so here we are, and the lap. Run your race full as usual, and this track's quite tricky to drive, and the reason for that is that Sector 2 requires you to have a lot of front end, but Sector 1 and Sector 3 reward you for not having a lot of rear end. So what ends up happening is that you're running a car that's quite oversteery to still have top speed and still have a bit of rotation in Sector 2, and then you cannot deal with the rear end wanting to step out in Sector 2. Starting the lap here, bring it over to the left hand side, brake just before the tire mark on the left. Use the compression to get the car to rotate. We got a Rouge coming up. A Rouge is not really a corner in modern GT3 cars, so we just want to make sure we're not scrubbing away too much speed. Long back straight, running up to Lecom, and Lecom we want to brake on the left hand side just after the 100 and clip every curb on the inside. Like so. Brake just after the curb starts on the left side here. Slowly make it to the inside. And patient with the throttle. Make sure you can get to the right side here, entering no name. Exit to the drainage curb. Use the curb on the entry of Puan as well. Careful with the rear, tiny bit of throttle. Early upshift here can help with the rear as well. Brake where the curb starts. And try to follow the curb on the inside here. Tiny lift. And make sure to not get the off track on the right side there. Use all the curb on entry here again. Tavolo. Again, make sure to not scrub too much speed out of the car. Should be easy flat. Going up to Blanchima, and Blanchima is not really a corner, but the rear can step out if you're too aggressive with the wheel. You want to be very smooth with your steering inputs here. Bus stop, want to be using the sand on the road as a brake marker. The first again, to the second apex, and that's a lap around Spa in the new 992. Alright, so here we are, start the lap. Turn 1, you want to make sure that your car is parallel to the white line on the left hand side. And because his brake markers on the left side, for me they're too far away from where I want to be looking. I want to be looking here when I'm going in the straight, and then towards the apex when I'm actually at the point. So this is too far away from that. So what I use instead is these tire marks on the road. So if we go from the inside cockpit cam, what I try to use here is these markers here, and I brake about in the middle of this patch of dirt and the start of this tire marker here. And we want to be braking in a straight line. You don't want to be braking towards the apex from here. You want to be braking in a straight line. And only at this point here, start bringing it to the inside. Make sure you get quite a late apex. And then from this point at the compression, you want to be using the point where the car gets pushed into the road to start accelerating. So just before the car gets pushed into the road, start going to the throttle. If you can't go on throttle here yet, it probably means you started the turn in too early. So you need to go straight a bit longer. You really have to sacrifice quite a lot of entry speed to get the extra speed, entry or the extra speed from this corner. So throttle from here, and then car gets pushed into the road and should be able to go flat out from there. Go to straight to a Rouge, and a Rouge, as I said, all you need to do is be careful with turning too much. If you're turning the wheel too much, you're scrubbing out a couple hundreds that you're gonna lose on the back straight here. Then we get to Lacombe, and Lacombe is tricky. There's two different ways you can take this. You can either brake parallel to this white line and brake in a straight line, and it's kind of the easier way to do it. It allows you to brake a bit later, but you have to brake a bit more because you're not going all the way to the left and getting a bit of a wider line into the corner. What you can also do is come a bit from the middle of the track and then brake onto the curb, but you can't brake as hard because we're turning. And what I like to do is come from the middle of the track and then go into the curb and brake a bit longer, but a bit less. And it allows me to get a bit of a wider entry into the corner. I brake just after the 100 sign on the left. Coming into the corner here. Want to be clipping the right side curb on every single one of these, especially the first two. Exiting the first right-hander from about the middle of the track. If you're already onto the curb too early here, you're gonna have to slow down too much. So in the middle of these corners here, so where this curb ends, if you're looking where this curb ends, if your car's already further than the middle of the track towards the left-hand side, you entered the first corners of the right-hander too fast, and you're sacrificing too much speed in the left-hander here. Small tap on the brake here to get the car to rotate, and again, you want to be putting your left side tires onto this curb here. You don't want to clip the dirt. Then on the exit, you don't really want to be going past the crown of the road here, so this black line with the middle of your car. If you're going too wide to the right-hand side here, you're going to have to sacrifice too much entry speed to the right-hander. Especially the Porsche. The Porsche is a bit lazy here. You want to be keeping quite tight on the exit here. Bring it over to the left-hand side. This curb here, it looks innocent, but this curb is a killer. If you clip this curb, sometimes the car just instantly spins. There's no grip on this curb, so be careful of it. Small lift here to make sure the front end has a bit of grip. You can even tap the brakes a bit to give the front end even a bit more grip. And bring it over to the right side. And then the car wants to track wide. You need to be keeping your right side tires onto this curb as a reference for where the off track is. Then we got Purcell, the downhill braking. I brake just after where the curb starts on the left. And we don't really have enough time to brake in a straight line here to follow this outside white line. But I also don't want to brake while turning here. So what I tend to do is from this point here, try to brake in a straight line towards around the middle of the track and then start trail braking for there. So I'm not braking a straight line towards here, I'm braking a straight line towards here. And then from this point here, we start trail braking. So we're braking as much in the straight line as we can. I know I'm turning a tiny bit. You have to turn a tiny bit, otherwise if you start entering the corner from here, you can't really get to the apex anymore. But brake as much in the straight line as you can, that will allow you to brake it a bit more and a bit harder. You need to be patient in the corner here. As you can see, really deep into the corner, we're still trail braking. Get a bit of rotation, and then slowly building a bit of the throttle up, If you're going full throttle too early, you're going to be ending at the outside curb here, and then you're not going to be able to take in as much speed into no-name because you can't make it to the curb on time. So no-name here, you want to be clipping this curb with the right side tires, otherwise you're not taking enough speed into no-name. You got two choices. You can either go fully over the inside curb here and almost clip the dirt. You don't quite want to clip the dirt. Or you can avoid the curb completely and have the car more settled. Going over the curb allows you to take a bit of a shallower line. Avoiding the curb completely gives the car a bit more grip. Both lines work, and I choose which one I do depending on how much turning I've got from the first part of the corner here. So the only thing you don't want to do is only clipping the red and white part here, because then you end up setting the car and you're not taking a very shallow line. So you either want to take it completely or not take it at all. Then on the exit, two tires need to be on the left side of this drainage. You can run quite wide. Entry pull on, want to be getting as close to the dirt here as you consistently can. The punish is quite big if you tap the brakes while your right side tires are on the dirt here. So just get onto this curb as close to this special dirt as you consistently can. Small tap on the brakes while you're going straight. You don't want to be braking too much here towards the apex because most cars will be set up here, as I said, with a lot of front end for the middle sector, but not a lot of rear end to make sure we still get a lot of top speed. And that means that we can't trail back too much into the corners without the rear stepping out, and especially this corner because it's mostly downforce to the way the car is balanced. You don't want to be trail braking too much here. So what helps for me, braking a lot in a straight line here and make sure that I have a bit of throttle already before I'm at the apex. Tiny bit of throttle. And then shifting up early here on the exit also helps with a bit of rear stability if you struggle with that. And we got pit path. You brake where the curb starts on the left hand side. Brake parallel to the white line. Get into the inside here as well. Once you get to the inside, you just follow the inside. You go all the way close to the gravel again. And you can do the same thing here. The ideal line again is close to the gravel, but just like in no name, if you can't quite get up to the gravel, you can also completely miss this and make sure the car doesn't get as upset, but you're taking a bit of a sharper corner because of it. The ideal line here is still close to the gravel, but this line can also work. And make sure on the exit here, the left side tires don't go over the drainage pipe to get the off track. Quickly make it over to the left side again. Just like entry pull-on, you want to be putting your left side of the car as close to the gravel as you consistently can. To brake on the gravel here, it's very punishing, so you need to be doing this as close as you consistently can. If you make one mistake in a 20-minute race, you can gain a tenth here every single lap, but if you hit the patch of grass once, you're going to be losing way more than what you gained over the whole 20-minute race. Tap on the brakes, one gear down, bit of trail braking to the apex here. You don't want to be running all the way on the inside here, I found. So just about clipping the red and white curb. And then throttle early, because from this point here all the way to the bus stop, we're not going to be off full throttle. Want to be running wide on the exit. Right side tires close to the drainage pipe here. Keep it there for Stavolo. And Stavolo, again, is one of those corners where we're rear limited rather than front limited. That means that if you turn the wheel too much here, the car won't just understeer, but you will start losing the rear. So to keep the rear in check here, you have to be very smooth with the steering. So don't steer too much here. Run so wide that you're running over the curb on the left hand side. As long as the right side tires are on the right of this drainage pipe, it won't be an off track. Got the big run at the Blanchimont. Blanchimont, again, same story as Stavolo. It's easy flat, but the rear will step out before the front does. Depending, of course, on how you get this car set up. But most of the faster setups will have this because you need to make sure you have good top speed in Sector 1 and Sector 3. You don't want to be turning the wheel too much because the rear will step out first. But the rear can easily do this flat as well. And we get the bus stop. And bus stop is always tricky for me with braking points because there's not really many braking points on the left side here. So what I use is this patch of dirt on the track, and the exact point of the patch of dirt is this point here. So where this dirt kind of changes to this, just before, that's where I try to brake. It is tricky, especially if you're behind someone. It might be better to brake a bit earlier to make sure you're not overshooting. But there's not really any mark on the left side here that works better for me, or anything on the right that works better for me. So I use just before where this black kind of dot is from the sand. The last chicane. It's another combination of corners, so you want to make sure that when you're exiting from the right-hander, you're not all the way down on the inside, because there's a bit of camber here as well. If you're running too deep from the right-hander, you can't really use the camber here to set yourself up and kind of shoot out of the corner onto the start-finish straight. So as a reference, you don't want the middle of your car to be on the left-hand side of this corner of the road again, just like we had in Lacombe. From the right side, we want to be using this bit of elevation here, so we're coming from a bit higher, going to the inside curb, going down, and then a bit up again. Make sure you get a good exit from there. Again, we get the good exit here from entering, not already completely on the left side, but from the middle of the road. And then slowly build the throttle, and you can run all the way wide. If the left side tires need to be on the left side of this drainage pipe again. And that's a lap around Spa in the 992. Right, so there we go. We took the new 992 on a lap around the famous Ardennes circuit. A lot of fun to drive. The car should be good again. Should be a lot of fun to race. I wish everyone good luck in the races that you do. Always a fun week, this one. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel.